Okay, so I'm going to be ready for New Year way earlier than I expected. And anyone that knows me knows that I literally cannot not be in chaos. So I have just been thinking all day about how lucky I am and like how excited I am for 2026. Because not going to lie, 2025 has been one of, I don't know, I don't want to say that because I'm so grateful and I literally love my life, but mentally, I think it's been one of the worst years of my life. And like anyone close to me will know that. But I think for me, this is like a really great opportunity just to document, like, hopefully going into 2026, I'm going to continue working on it. I feel way better than I did. But I obviously want to be putting a lot of my life online. Like, I'm so grateful that I stepped into remote work through appointment setting 3 years ago, and that I've had the opportunity to help so many girls take on remote roles, whether it's to boost their income or to do what I've like similar to what I've done, which is travel a lot and have that freedom. But at the same time, I have definitely struggled with my mental health this year. Like, it's something that I haven't spoken about to too many people, just mainly close friends. So I would honestly be happy if no one ever saw this video. But I feel like to document it is obviously really great. I just need to make sure Peanut's in the background so I can see how well I'm videoing this, because I just, honestly, that whole situation, it just makes me so grateful for everyone around me. And it's been the most testing 2025. But if I hadn't had the experience with Peanut, I think I would have found it a lot worse, even though that was a stressful experience. So let me talk about why. So if I'm being really candid about like my mental health and everything, I wouldn't say journey, because I feel like, honestly, I'm probably still in the thick of it, but I'm just having a good period. But basically, 4 years ago, I was feeling really upset all the time. I was working in London. I was just really struggling with my mental health and felt really behind all of my friends. They were all in relationships and I had just gone through a breakup. I just moved home and I was feeling just really lost. And a lot of things happened, which were minor things, but I think for me, it just was so overwhelming. It got me into like quite a bad place. And it was actually Christmas time 4 years ago that I went to the doctors and got a diagnosis, and they said that I was suffering from depression. So I'd been on antidepressants from then till last summer. And it was when I got my ADHD diagnosis about a year and 2 months ago, which if anyone that's gone through that with the NHS knows it's like 2 years long that you're waiting for a diagnosis. But anyway, got my ADHD diagnosis, started looking way more into ADHD because I know it's like super fun, like I've got loads of energy, blah, blah, blah. It's like when you actually look at all of your ADHD traits, it is so not fun. And like it just made me realise that depression diagnosis probably wasn't even all depression. It was probably, I was so overwhelmed with like different life changes. And yeah, I think it was probably more a misdiagnosis of depression, or so ADHD, or so I thought. And then when I have since like come off my antidepressants and just been on ADHD medication, the transition off antidepressants for me was hell. I decided to do that at the end of last summer. Like I just moved home. I was planning on moving to Manchester within about 6 weeks, which is normally how long it takes to like resettle everything after you've been on medication for so long. And let me tell you, it was hell. Like, just because I know that I'm not supposed to be feeling the sadness that I was feeling. And it almost took me back to like the 4 years prior when I had been feeling sad all the time and I couldn't quite put a pin in like what it was. So that I think in itself was triggering. And then basically what I did was I'd message the ADHD people and said like I'm feeling really anxious when I was on both the medications, because I got serotonin syndrome, which is like both the antidepressants and the ADHD medication that I'd just started taking, and I was so excited to finally get this medication after waiting about 3 years for it. And both the medications made me have serotonin syndrome, which made me like crash out basically every day. So I was like, something's got to change. They told me to come off that ADHD medication, but then I was like, do you know what? I'd rather focus on, I'm going to come off the ADHD medication because that was just like a hard stop. It's fine. I'm just going to not focus again. I'm going to be having my naps. Absolutely fine. But then the antidepressant one was harder to come off because that's more of a bit of a transitionary period. And yeah, kind of hellish. So thank God I was at home for that. And like my family, I feel so grateful to have them, because I could not have gone through it any other way. And I think it was all the little things. Like I didn't even have to say to my mum and dad if I was having a bad day. They're just like, no, basically, to stay out my way and just let me rot and work in front of the TV, because when you are self-employed, that is the one thing. You can't be like, I need to have a couple of weeks off work to get over this. So I was like battling this whole thing. I've got my own community, and then I was really struggling, I'd say, October, September, October, November, they were my worst months. And I've got a community of people that are relying on me. I'd invested 6k into a mentor in summer, or start of summer. That was coming to the end. I'd just done 30 days consistently on YouTube. I was feeling so positive about it. It was in the last week when I came off my antidepressants, and I was struggling to like keep it going, but I knew I had to do it for myself. Finished the 30 days of YouTube, felt so excited. Like looking back, I was like, okay, I know exactly the direction I want to head. I know exactly how I can reach more girls. I can help more girls get into remote work. But at the end of the day, I was struggling so badly mentally that the only option I really had was to put all of that on hold, focus on making the best out of a bad situation in my personal life, where I'd be like still taking time to be with my friends, my family, because that at the end of the day would bring me joy. Even if it was like I'd go out with a fake smile on my face, I knew that after half an hour of being with different people, I'd feel so much better. So I was just like trying to keep that momentum. And then I was obviously just being there for my community, and then I have ended up taking on another client, just that it meant that I feel like I fell out of love a bit with what I was doing, because I hadn't done it in a while. I'd been doing my own thing, and I was like, oh, there's no point me appointment setting for a client when I could be actually trying to reach more girls through appointment setting on my own account. But because you have to do all the content, everything, I was just like, hey, this right now is not feasible for me to manage. I need the structure of having a client so that I can't let them down each day. And I also like want to practice what I preach. Like I love appointment setting. I love the freedom that it's given me. So really excited to be working with that client now, which has been since pretty much the beginning of December. Anyway, I digress. So now, even though all the medications sort of balance out, I'd say where that has kind of like, it triggers something in you when you're feeling really unsettled. And I wouldn't even say the medication's probably balanced out and it's all out my system. Like I was on it for nearly 4 years. And then I've just had like a hectic December. So lucky, like I had loads of family things on, and then just seeing various friends and everything. When I moved back to Manchester, that was actually where I'd moved out of when I first started like struggling with my mental health, I'd say. So then it was so nice to be back there, because I just feel like now it's like been nice, like associated with all of the happy memories, and like not so much, oh, I moved out there and that's when I started struggling with my mental health. Because at the end of the day, I think everyone is always struggling with their mental health. Like it's never going to be everyone is sunshine and roses. And that's why I really want to start talking about it more, is because when people see me, they meet me for the first few times and they're like, oh my God, I can never imagine you being sad. And the amount of times I've got that over the last 4 years, and I literally, my heart just sinks, because I feel so guilty, because I've experienced so many lows, and I think I can be so honest with like the fact that nothing serious has happened to me. Like I know my life has been full of like amazing experiences. I'm surrounded by such incredible people, and that's what scares me when I think about mental health, because if I've been through so many times when I've struggled, I can't imagine like being in any other situation and managing to get through it. But it's all about perspective, because this has been my worst year mentally of my life, I'd say. Even in front of that year where like so many things had happened and I was upset every day, I think this was honestly worse, because I knew that I shouldn't be upset. I felt like there's been no easy route or like no easy fix for, okay, go on this medication or you're doing the right thing with this, because it's made me realise how complex it is to be on medication and to even like balance what you're doing, your routine, seeing everyone, balancing things you like with what works for you. And that's super scary. And I wouldn't say I've cried as much as I did in like, I think it was 2021, but I'd say that every day I'm like a bit scared for how I'll be feeling. So if I hadn't gone through the trauma, which is this little Bali dog who is now in my bed in Beckenham, I think I would have struggled a lot more again. But in February, me and my best friend, we found this dog on the beach in Bali. Well, she had been walking alongside us on our morning beach walks for a couple of days. And then when we went to go take her food and water, she had actually been attacked by other dogs. So took her straight to the vet, looked after her, was getting her all healed to try and find her a forever home in Bali. But I just didn't feel comfortable leaving her there. And to be honest, we didn't have any adopters except for a local who would let her free roam and everything. And I was like, no, I've got to get her home. And in that experience, not only did all of my friends in Bali like rally around me, but all of my friends and family at home were amazing. They all like sponsored to get Peanut home. She's actually in her forever home, which is my mum's best friend, but they're skiing at the moment, hence why I have her for the week, which is unbelievable. And all of this happened over the period of like, I looked after her for probably 2 months. Then the period of 2 months, it was just about getting her home, getting her settled, getting her to a forever home. And that whole thing was stressful. But I just can't get over, like, if anyone's struggling, just imagine you were in a situation like that. Like, you will have so many people around you, like, rallying around you. And it's so easy to get caught up in the things like, oh no, all my friends are in relationships and like, when's it going to happen for me? Or like, all my friends buying houses, all my friends are having kids. My family's growing up, like my family is growing by the day and it's amazing. But it's also like, you know, and you just, for me, I don't know whether this is an ADHD trait, but I feel so much like remorse for memories and like sadness when a memory's gone. So like, I really struggle with that. So anyway, when I went through this whole thing and everyone rallied around me, anytime I've had a low moment, I just remember like how loved I am, how anytime I'm in a position where I do need someone, I know that they're going to be there. And I really hope that everyone knows the same from me and like can expect the same from me. And just sitting here, like being around today, I was working, I'm feeling great, well, greater than I was 3 months ago. And I've just had Peanut playing with like our family's golden doodle in front of me. And it's just made me just so grateful because that was so stressful. And obviously unexpected. I didn't plan to go into 2025 and rescue a dog and bring her back from Bali, but here we are. But I think as much as I love Peanut, I love all her qualities, she is living her like the best life possible at the minute. And if I didn't go through that experience, I feel so much gratitude. I knew there was a reason I hadn't put mascara on before. I was like, let me just film a YouTube video with how I'm feeling today. But if I hadn't have gone through that experience, I probably would have found the last 3 months way harder because I think it's just, there was always such a positive to talk about with the year. And who knows what 2026 is going to hold. I definitely want to do more things, like not so much saving a dog's life, but things on a similar level where it's just, I won't plan it, I'll just see it and it will be like, I need to help this person, this thing. Even if like a friend's going through a really hard time, just like making sure I up my game. But then saying that, like, whenever I told my friends about how I'm feeling, I feel quite bad because they're like, oh, I had no idea, like, I would have messaged you sooner. And I'm like, no, thank God you didn't. I would not have replied. I was not in that headspace. So I think it's all about having a fine balance with, like, where you're at, what you want, the support you need. And, like, I just think it's honestly, I'm so grateful to be hopefully going into 2026 in a much healthier mental situation. Do you know what? I did so well. I'm going to put this in the description. I did so well with this journaling hack, which was like to have these prompts every day, and I was going to do 90 days. I think I got up to about 45, and then that's when I really started struggling, and I was like, right, I'm progressing. I'm not doing this like every day. And then I just gave up, and now I've just been writing bullet points with like great things that I want to remember. But starting tomorrow, I'm going to be journaling again using this technique, because I think it was really good, especially for my business, and just making sure everyone's supported and everything. But yeah, I can't believe I fell off that. I fell off YouTube. When it came to my birthday, that was the end of November, and I'd say I was better mentally if I really put my mind to it. But at the same time, oh my God, like I'd planned to have a magician at my house. I was inviting like every Tom, Dick and Harry that I knew, like just saying like, oh, last birthday in this house, because my mum and dad are hopefully moving next year. And it got to like close to the time, and I was literally cancelling left, right and centre. Like I just had my friends from home with all of their kids round. And like I think that's the thing, like you do just have to be really... I need to get better at it, because part of me was like, I don't want to cancel on people. Like I want anyone that feels like they'd be disappointed if they weren't invited or like weren't coming to my birthday, I want to give them the full heads up of like, why not? But like I do just think going into next year, I need to be more balanced. I need to be more open. I really hope by like having these conversations, I can hopefully like encourage other people that it does get better. Like honestly, 3 months ago, I would not have been able to sit here and even talk about this, or 2 months ago. So this is why I'm not even going to look through this. I think there's one bit that I want to cut because I went on such a tangent. But other than that, enjoy my little memory dump for 2025, and cheers to a 2026 where we can connect with more people. Like I just cannot wait to help more girls into the remote working world, and I cannot wait to spend more time with Peanut.